And welcome back, Steve Malzberg Show, Wednesday edition. And joining us right now is the author of the column that everybody reads in the Washington Post. It's the Fact Checker column or blog, however you want to describe it. And its author, Glenn Kessler, is with us once again. Hey, Glenn.
Glad to be with you.
Good to talk to you again. Merry Christmas to you. And you have now penned the biggest Pinocchios of 2013, and let me play for everybody several versions of the number one Pinocchio as determined by you. Here it is.
If you've got health care already, then you can keep your plan if you are satisfied with it.
If you like the plan you have, you can keep it.
I intend to keep this promise. If you like your health care plan, you'll be able to keep your health care plan.
All right. So, and there's some of those, to be fair, were in 09 and 08, but we could have pulled it right up. So, how did you come to the determination that that was the biggest Pinocchio of 2013?
Well, on several levels. First of all, it was a very substantive promise that was made repeatedly over the course of many years. Secondly, the impact of, or let me put it this way, the fact that the promise could not be kept was a direct consequence of both a very early cutoff date for grandfathering plans, which the administration put into the law, and also then the tight regulations that the administration wrote about the grandfathering rules. So the two things together really made it a very bad promise to have made in the first place. And and there were warning signals at the time, and there were people that saying this doesn't seem, that it can be sustainable. And you could kind of, the political reason why they made that promise was they were trying to avoid the problems that the Clintons had when they tried to do their health care overhaul, and that was people were afraid of losing their plans. So they made this promise. For political reasons, you can kind of see why they might do that, but at some point you kind of have to kind of readjust expectations or say, gee, we've now discovered we can't really live up to this, but they never did that.
How does this one rate with, I know back in 04, you wrote a piece, if I'm correct, about the Bush-Iraq weapons of mass destructions claim. How does this rank with that? Would you say that this is the based on the factors enumerated by you in making this decision to make it number one Pinocchio of the year, would you say that it outweighs and outranks any previous modern-day presidents' Pinocchios?
Well, it's hard to compare those things.
How about intent? How about intent?
Well, to me, the equivalent of this is probably George Herbert Walker Bush's pledge never to raise taxes. Because there, in fact, if you remember the full quote there, it was, Congress will push, they'll pull, they'll demand, but I will say, I will tell them, read my lips, no new taxes.
Right.
And so there was a specific thing where he said, this thing is going to happen, and I'm going to hold firm. And it turned out that did happen. Congress said you got to raise taxes, and he didn't hold firm.
Okay, so if those three were put in a barrel, and you make that analogous to that one, where does the Bush one in your mind? See, I don't think that. In my opinion, it wasn't. Bush didn't lie on purpose. Bush thought like the intelligence said, he was presenting the intelligence. In my opinion, but so where would the Bush one fall? Above those two, which are analogous in your point of view, or below them? Where would that rank?
Well, like I said, I think it's hard to, these two. The healthcare one and the taxes one had to do with specific policies, domestic policies. And when you get to the Iraq War, it's hard to put it. It's of a different order or a different type of misstatement. Mm-hmm. Because first of all, it wasn't just that he thought that there were weapons of mass destruction there. There was the broader question is whether the administration had cooked some of the intelligence, made it look more dire than it actually was, or that they ignored contrary information or contrary analysis. And then secondly, there were consequences of having to decide to launch the war, which continue to reverberate to this day. So I would just put, I think you kind of, I think you need to say, well, these are political promises. This is a foreign policy statement. There might be other foreign policy statements you could look at. That I think you can't weigh them up and say all promises are equal.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Fair enough. Okay, we're talking to Glenn Kessler here, the author of the Fact Checker blog and the Washington Post on the Steve Malzberg Show. He has his biggest Pinocchios of 2013. Number 2 was Obama offering an image in a news conference about the sequester, where he said that right now janitors sweeping the empty halls of the Capitol are getting paid less. That was your number 2 Pinocchio. And then number 4 also belonged to Obama when at the presidential debate, I presume, if I'm not mistaken, when he said that he, maybe it was after the fact also, when he said that he did refer to Benghazi as an act of terror. And you and I have discussed that one specifically. But let me ask you, if we have time, we'll get to them specifically. But has there ever been, in your memory, or in your Pinocchio column of the year, a president with 3 of the top 4 Pinocchios?
You know, I guess I should go back and see what I think he may have had 2 last year. Can't remember. I have to go back and I guess I should have a running list.
But you don't remember offhand if Clinton had 4 or 4. Has anybody had more than 3 or 4 of the top 4? One president.
Well, you know, we've only been doing this for 3 years.
Okay, so
we can't go all the way back.
Okay, there you go.
Bill Clinton certainly had a few things that would.
Yes, I would say so. All right, folks, read it all for yourself at thewashingtonpost.com. And our friend Glenn Kessler, the Fact Checker blog, and you'll see all of it for yourself, the Pinocchio list for 2013. Thank you, Glenn. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Take care. Glenn Kessler, ladies and gentlemen. Very, very interesting, as they say. Now, when we come back, Roland Martin, formerly of CNN, now has his own TV show. He will join us, and we will talk about Santa Claus. Santa Claus, that's what they call them on the Little Rascals. Spanky's father called him Santa Claus. Anyway, is he white? Is he black? If you think he's white, are you racist? Why would a black child feel offended if Santa Claus looks white? We'll talk about it all right here. You're not going to want to miss it. Steve Malzberg Show. And, of course, it's presented 3 to 6 p.m. Eastern every day on Newsmax TV and radio.